it was a hit record because it was different. So when Temple came out, he had hit records because he was different. Blaze had hit records because it was different. Primo, same thing. Like all these producers that we all idolize and look up to, they're different. They're not afraid of owning their sound or reinventing themselves.
1, 2, yeah. Come on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, sir, you are tuned in. This is for the SB1200, ASR 10s and NBC heroes. This is for the crate digging, loop getting, sound manipulators, the Fruity Loop reasoning machine innovators that pump the bass and frequently freak the kick in a stand till it slaps in your speakers. The sound providers that make sure the song is tight. Shout out to the producers, beats grinding live. Shout out to the producers, beats grinding life.
Welcome to the Beats Grinding Life podcast with your host Siren, a weekly interview podcast with inspiring music producers, where every week you will learn from a different music producer how to potentially take your music career to the next level.
What's up, Beat Grinders? This is another episode of Beats Grinding Life. I'm your host Siren, and with us today we got Cain.
What's good?
Yeah, man. Cain is an up-and-coming producer and sound designer out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The multi-instrumentalist is 1/3 of the production team Ratchet Gxd. He is also a 2015 iStandard Showcase winner. You can hear his production with artists such as Warchild, Roscoe P, Coldchain, Jimmy Wallstreet on networks MTV, Oxygen, and you can also hear his production all over the new Kaydence album, Pen Piper. Yo, what's up, Cain? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, man. Just fortunate and lucky and extremely happy to have you up on the show, man. Man, like I was saying before.
Likewise.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. It's good to have all of the Ratchet Gxds on here finally, man.
Well, yeah, man. You know, Triforce of Power.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. So, man, I just gave the listeners, the Beat Grinders, man, a little intro of you, man. Why don't you expand on that intro and let them know a little more about yourself?
Oh, yeah, cool. I got into music real early in life, man. I would say when I was like 8, you know, I started with the trumpet. I got real proficient with the trumpet, and I moved on to the piano. I started playing by ear, you know, and I picked up on that real fast. Like, somebody could play something and I'll play it back verbatim. Then I moved on a little bit of drums, but not anything like too crazy. Like, you know, I'm not going, you know, get on stage and just like cook. Right. Nothing like that, you know. But you know, I'm alright.
Right. Okay.
So you know, I got into this music thing in college. You know, I've always been into music, but you know, other musicians that I met when I was in college, not necessarily in college, but while I was, you know, at that age. So they got me, you know, deep into it. You know, they started introducing me to studios, recording equipment, etc.
Nice. Okay, man. Well, I want to ask you, man, you said that you started off with the trumpet and then the piano was pretty simple for you to pick up. Do you think that playing the trumpet and having an introduction to music instruments already was the reason why the piano was so easy for you?
No, actually, the piano was like a foreign language to me because, you know, not to be too technical, the trumpet only has 3 buttons.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the piano, you know, all those keys. So, you know, to get the sound that I need, combinations of 3 versus, you know, 12. So
right.
It's vastly different. But I mean, just being able to read sheet music helped tremendously. You know.
Okay, that's what's up. How much do you think that helps you in your production now? I mean, I know that you're probably all over the keys, but do you play the trumpet at all, or do you use those expertise for playing the trumpet in your production?
I don't own a trumpet anymore, to be honest with you, just because, one, I don't like cleaning up a trumpet, like not getting into the details of it, but all my horn players know what I'm talking about with that spit valve. But the way I use, you know, the fact that I played brass instruments, I was in a band like a jazz band or whatever, so I know how all the instruments are supposed to sound. That helps with my development of my sound, as far as design wise. Like if I'm working on a record, I know exactly how something is supposed to sound. So
nice.
I become real anal retentive when it comes to like all the idiosyncrasies of that shit.
Dope, man. Dope. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Okay, man. Well, the first question that we like to ask here at Beats Grind and Life, you may have answered it, man, is how did you get into music production? Sounds like you started off at a very early age playing the instruments, and then when you went to college, you got into it a little more. Was that your intro to hip hop and R&B production in college?
I would say kind of, yeah. Like I always would make music in my head. You know what I'm saying? I would always compose, like I would compose my own little songs on a piano, but I didn't have the technology to actually record it, put something over top of it, record that, put the drums, record, I didn't have the technology, so everything would be stuck in my head. So I had like, 19 years worth of music just stuck in my head, just waiting to get put out. So when they, introduced me to like an MPC and Reason, FL and Pro Tools, man, I drew.
Nice, man. Nice. Okay. Well, man, you just mentioned a whole bunch of hardware and software, but what was the first piece of equipment or software that you personally own that you got? Well, actually, what did you start off with first, and then what was the first piece that you actually owned?
Man, the first thing I started off with was a Casio CTK 601. It's this big, huge, gray keyboard that has the demo button on it. Everybody and their mom had that one gray keyboard with the speakers on either side that had the little demo button on it, and it's sitting shiny in the store, like Best Buy or something like that. You press the demo button, it played a cheesy song.
Right. Yep.
That was my joint. That was my joint.
I'm looking at one right now.
You know what I'm saying? But that joint taught me everything, man. To be honest with you, it taught me about different types of drum patterns.
Nice.
It taught me chords. All that stuff. It introduced me to different genres of music. I mean, it's funny, when you describe it, but I was a little kid. I was like, maybe 10. Okay. I was poor, so having that joint was like it was like the Rolls Royce of musical history. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
So I actually moved up to a Rolls Royce when I got the TR-66 workstation, Triton joint.
Yep, sure did move up. Nice.
That was the one that I owned. Like I bought that with my own money that I saved up, from working.
That's dope. That's a great feeling right there, huh? When you just saving to finally get something.
Yeah, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, nothing like it. That's what's up. Okay, man. All right, man. Well, when you were aspiring to be a producer, and when you were saving up for that Triton, who were some of the producers that you looked up to?
Man, so I mean, starting off to me is just Quincy Jones. I always looked up to him. Timbaland, DJ Premier, Just Blaze, Dr. Dre, all those guys. I looked up to them for various reasons. Most of it had to do with their particular style of music, like how they approached hip hop and R&B.
Right. Okay. Okay, man. Well, a lot of those, I'm gonna challenge you just a little bit. A lot of those names, man, we hear all the time on Beats Grind and Life, man. Can you just throw a curveball out there? Can you throw somebody that you think may not have been mentioned?
Oh man, somebody that hasn't been mentioned,
or someone that you think that just a lot of people don't really think of, but they had a huge impact on you and your sound.
Let me think about this just for a second. I'm going to say I'm going to have to go with man, Man, you kind of got me. I'm gonna go with Ninth Wonder.
Ooh, okay. That's what's up. Yeah, ninth man is a beast, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Ninth Wonder.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I like about Ninth man is he beat all the odds, man. I mean, when he first came out, we heard his beats, and everybody wanted to know what he made his beats on. Then we heard Fruity Loops. No one could believe it, you know. And I think he was like that first producer, at least for me, that I knew of that was making beats on Fruity Loops that were like industry standard, you know, back in the day. You know.
I mean, you got it. Yeah. Like, he was the first major producer to just come out and say, "Yeah, I use Fruity Loops."
Yep.
I mean, it was big because digital still wasn't really respected.
Right. Yep, that's true.
Everything was still, you know, analog.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was, you know, they will always say stuff like his tracks sound thin, you know, is full or
right.
warm. All those terms that people like to put out there. But I'm listening to his music and I'm like, I don't know what they're smoking, but
right.
this thing right here is this the one.
And I wonder if they were saying that before they even knew what he made his stuff on.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I don't even think that was something that they even I don't think that was anything that anybody was even checking for. It's one of them things like when somebody eats calamari for the first time, they say, "Oh man, this is the best I ever." "Oh man, what's great?" And then you say, "Yeah, it's calamari," and they spit it out like,
right.
"Oh, why you get this nasty stuff?
Right.
It's so nasty."
Right.
Oh man, 12,000 leagues of terrible under the sea.
Right, exactly.
It's one of them kind of things,
Yep.
man. But when you actually listen to his music and you listen to him work, it's like, I don't think it matters, man. He dope.
Yep, exactly, man. Well, thank you for that, man. Thank you. I mean, you know, not to throw shade on anybody else that you named, but you know, we hear those names all the time, and it's refreshing to hear a name that we don't always hear, man. So thank you for that. Okay, man. Well, you know, here on Beats Grinding Life, man, we're definitely here to praise you, man, and the work that you've done, and the producer that you are, man. That's why you're on here. But at the same time, man, it can't all be good, man. We can't just talk about the positives. We have to talk about the negatives as well, man. So I want to know, man, if you can tell me a major setback or a failure that you've had in your career thus far that you've been able to bounce back from, so that maybe we can avoid that kind of setback or failure.
Man, I lost every single file to every single record that I've ever created. 3 times in my life.
3 times?
Just recently too.
Oh.
Just recently too. That includes, like, you know, I call myself a sound designer, and that goes beyond just making, you know, loops that people can sample. I'm talking about actually creating sounds.
Right.
I lost those too.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man. Like, how recent?
Probably 3 months ago. But
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
The beauty of this time around of it happening is I learned my lesson from the other times when I wasn't as, I guess, technically savvy. So I had redundancy. I had backups.
Nice.
On my back. So I was able to save most of my stuff, but more of the recent stuff that people haven't even heard, because I'm a perfectionist and I sit on stuff. You know, I sit on a lot of music for a while before I put it out because I'm constantly adding to it. That stuff is gone. I gotta either redo it or just take it on the chin. But, you know, it's like that Kanye West line. I rhymes all kinds of sort of. I thank him. It means I forgot better than you ever thought of. You know?
Right.
Just on creating.
Yep. That's the only way that you can look at it, man. I mean, yeah, you can try to recreate some songs, but they never turn out the way that they were before, you know. And yeah, that's the only way you can look at it, is I got to keep going. So I'm glad that you learned your lesson and you were able to back up a lot of that stuff, you know. And I mean, I'm sure the world is gonna appreciate it too when you're able to put that music out and we're able to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So okay, so the first 2 times, how were you able to bounce back?
I just made better stuff like that. I just took it as one of those kinds of things. Like, you know what, man, listen, I just got to chalk that up, be smarter next time with my records, and just make, more stuff, So it just taught me work ethic and never being satisfied with what I have now. Like, always look for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's awesome. Okay, man. Well, thank you for sharing that, man. I mean, I know I've lost stuff, and I mean, it's almost common for producers to lose, just about everything that they have. And, the only way to combat that is to back everything up. So thank you for reiterating that lesson, man, and letting us all know what we need to be doing. Appreciate that, man.
No problem.
Okay, man. Well, man, we're going to hop on the other side of the fence, man. I want to know, what is your greatest achievement thus far in your career? What do you consider the crowning moment?
Man, like, I don't think I've reached that point where it's like a crowning achievement, but the thing that lets me know that I went in the right direction, where it's like, yeah, this is right here, this is where it's supposed to go, is when I co-founded the Ratchet Gxds. Nice. Okay. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you co-founded the Ratchet Gxds and how that all came together? Because I mean, like myself, man, I keep to myself a lot of times when it comes to my music, and I don't let other people hear, and I don't work with a lot of people, and I know that that's a hindrance, that definitely holding me back, and I know that it's holding others back as well. But you're expanding by doing that. Can you tell us how and why that happened? Yeah, that's actually is an actual interesting story behind that. So back in like 2013, I went to an iStandard producer event in Miami, and that's where I met Sound Junkie in Miami. Like, I knew of him because of Symphony. But I didn't know him personally. Like, I kind of knew what he looked like. So we're in Miami, and they're doing like a producer showcase to see who goes to Beast of the Beats for 2013. And I'm looking at him, and I'm just like, I know this guy. I don't know where I know him, but I kind of know this guy. And he's looking at me like, yo, don't I know you? I was like, I think I know you. He was like, well, my name is Sound Junkie. I was like, oh, you're Sound Junkie. I'm Cain. It was good. He was like, oh, shit, yeah, somebody told me about you. So we're driving in some stranger's car to the next event in Miami. I don't even know this dude, but we're both in the car, and we're all playing music. And I played this one record for Junkie, and he was like, yo, play that again. Like, I think I ended up playing that record like 3 to 4 times during that whole car ride.
Dope, damn.
So we started, days went by and everything like that. We were talking more, and he was like, yeah, I'm in Miami right now, but after I leave from Miami to go to Atlanta, I mean, he's in Atlanta, he's coming from Miami. After I go back to Atlanta, I'm moving back to Philly. I was like, oh, that's dope, and I was like, yo, I swear I know you from somewhere else, though. He's like, yo, did you used to have braids? I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, you went to Kutztown? I said, oh, shit. So we both went to the same college.
Damn.
And didn't even know it.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Right?
It almost sounds like it's like destined to be. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's why I said, that's not even our crowning achievement, but that's why I was just like, that was a signpost for me.
Right. Yep.
Life-wise. So I got back to Philly, and like 3 days later, he got back to Philly, and he called me, and he was like, what's up? I was like, all right, well, you can come through. And at the time, I had all my studio equipment in the living room because I just needed to change the pace.
Right.
Like, I had it, I have my own workroom, but I was like, nah, man, I need to be downstairs. Like, I opened the door, it's nature outside and everything like that. Everything was, so we started working on something that was just real melodic, real dramatic, opera-ish almost, but like real ratchet. He was like, yo, this sound real godly, man. I'm gonna put some ratchet shit over it. And I said, yeah, like Greeks eating grapes in the strip club. And he's like, yeah, Jesus Christ at the strip club. Yeah, Ratchet Gxds. Boom. He's like, yo, that should be a group. And he's like, yeah, that's probably what we should call, this situation. I was like, yeah, that's the one right there. That's the move.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Well, man, I mean, I love hearing that story, man. I love hearing how you guys got together. Like I said, man, it sounds like it was destined to be, man. And man, you guys are making magic. You guys are making it happen. From everything that I heard, from the beats that you guys are making, from the kits you guys are making, man, everything is top notch, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. And I mean, in the Kaydence album, man, I got to give you kudos, man. And I love that album, and you guys definitely did your damn thing on there, man. So, man, salute to y'all, man. That's what's up, man. Okay. Yeah, man, another thing, man, I think I told JFK this, man. What I hear from you guys, man, I don't hear from anybody else. You know, you guys have a completely different sound than what's going on now. And I feel like that's the same type of feeling. The feeling I get from you guys is the same feeling I got from Timbaland when I was first introduced to him. You know, he had a sound that no one ever heard of. And I get the same feeling from you guys, man. I'm just excited to hear what else you guys got in store, man. So yeah, man, I'm a fan. So
yeah, man, please, appreciate that.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Okay. All right, man. Well, here on Beats Grinding Life, man, we're all striving for greatness, man. We're all trying to be like you and the Ratchet Gxds, because like I said, you guys are doing your thing, man. And man, success leaves clues, man, and we're just trying to pick up the clues and try to figure out how to be successful like you. So we want to know, man, what do you do in a typical day, so that way we can model our day after you and try to become great like you.
Man, I don't do nothing special, man. I don't have like a special formula in the kitchen that I was, you know, a secret lair in my basement, and I make this like green potion and I drink it every day, man.
That's what I was thinking. Damn.
Nah, you know, I ain't get struck by lightning while I was jogging one day, and I woke up with amazing, you know, powers. I just work, you know, I work, I come home, I work some more with music. You know, I take some personal time to myself. I eat, more music, go to sleep, wake up, do it again, man. I mean, the main thing about what you do with your day is you make sure that you don't leave anything left undone. You know, like time is precious. Not to sound real cliche, you know. I just remember I had a job that I hated,
right?
But I needed money in order to travel as a producer to network. So it was a catch too. In order to go to these events, I needed to have free time.
Right.
But in order to have the necessary money to go to those,
about it. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So at the time, I wanted a better job just so I would have a better schedule. You know what I'm saying? So I was working 15 hours a day because I had my full-time job, I had a part-time job, and then I had to come home, and then I would do music.
Damn.
And then I would sleep. And then I would wake up. I would do it again. And I did that for a year and a half.
Damn, man. Wow. No excuses.
No excuses. You know, a lot of people will say, you know, you got to quit your day job and just go at it hard body.
Right.
But that's not realistic. That's not conducive to everybody's life. Not everybody's life is built that way.
Right.
If you're young, you can do anything. Young,
right?
Well, when responsibilities start creeping in your life, you got bills to pay. You got to not be homeless. You got to have electricity in order to do music.
Yep.
So you gotta do what you got to do. So I would say just make sure you're using every single minute of every bit of time you have every single day deliberately.
Wow. Wow, that's great advice, man. That's awesome, man. And just to hear you say that you work 15 hours a day, you had 2 jobs. How much time would you spend on music after you got off of work?
So my part-time job, I was a bit fortunate. I did IT and AV technology work at a university.
Okay.
So I was there in the evening, and I was basically the manager. So when you're the manager, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Right.
So you know, if it was light, you know, I had my laptop with me. I'd work right then and there.
Nice.
You know, and then I would come home, and I would probably work about maybe an hour or 2 more. You know, depending on if I had some more gas in the tank. or I just pass out, to be honest with you. But I always made time. Like if I missed an hour, like every hour or two that I missed during the weekday working on music, I made sure that I made up for it during the weekend. Like I treated it like a full-time job.
That's dope. Yeah, that's discipline right there, man. That's dope.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, that's what's up, man. I definitely commend you on that, man. It's easy to just sit on the couch sometimes for people. I mean, other people it's not. For other people, they can't sit on the couch. They need to be doing something. But for you to work two jobs, one full time and one part time, and still be able to make beats, man, that just lets us know that we can accomplish anything. Because, man, you're doing your thing and you're accomplishing your goals, and you're not letting anything hold you back. So that's what's up, man. Thank you for that motivation and that inspiration, man. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, this next portion of the interview, man, I like to call In the Studio. I wish I could be in the studio with y'all making craft and beats, man, but we know that that's not possible. You guys are in Philadelphia. I'm all the way here in Portland, so we can't make that happen just yet. But this is the next best thing, man, where I ask you questions and we get to find out what goes on in the studio. You ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay, man. I want to know before you start making beats, man, what do you do? Do you have a set ritual? Is there anything that you do before you start making beats?
It depends. Like if I'm in my own home situation, I get myself a drink.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be alcoholic. It could just be iced tea, you know.
Okay.
But I need something to drink.
Right.
So
Okay.
In the studio, it's kind of the same thing. Like I'm usually the first one to arrive at the studio, and then if Junkie is coming, or if it's just me and Fox or me and Junkie, all three of us. But either way, Fox will then come with like all the necessary snacks. He's basically the snack god. Like he'll come with like tea, water, you know, gum, Doritos, chips, whatever.
Right.
So then we'll drink, we'll talk, shoot the shit, and then we get to business.
Yo, okay. I'm gonna let you guess, man. This usually isn't part of this show, but I'm gonna let you guess. What do you think JFK said for this question? First thing that he does.
What did you say?
Yeah.
He probably caresses a tender BBW.
That's a good guess right there. And that's probably true, but just looking at his Instagram, I would have guessed that too.
He caresses a BBW tenderly on her little love flaps. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, that might be true, man, but that's not the answer he gave. He gave the same answer as you. He said he gets a drink, but he did say it's Henny though. Yeah. He loves his Henny.
For sure.
He loves his Henny. Yeah.
Along with BBWs too. So.
Along with BBWs. He got a shot of Henny and a BBW just standing right beside him.
Right. Probably pouring him the shot.
Right. You know, and he watches Karate Kid because that shows him the perfect wax on, wax off treatment that he got to give her back because, you know, his broad strokes for BBW, they pretty wide.
Oh, man, no way. You guys are too much, man. Y'all are too much. Okay. All right, man. Well, what's a not so secret weapon that you got up in the studio?
Man, so you didn't really, when you introduced Junkie and you probably asked him this question, it was he probably gave you an answer for him. Like the way we design stuff, like we all bring different elements.
Okay.
And they'll always say I bring like that magic. Like that's just what they call it. They just call it magic. So that magic comes from my imagination.
Dope. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. Okay. Not something that you can buy or purchase, man, but yeah, it's something that we all have in all of us. You know, you just got to tap into it.
Exactly.
And yours, you know, is must be special and it's, you know, like you said, it's magic. So that's what's up. Okay, man. Well, what equipment or software do you currently use to make beats right now? What's all in your toolbox?
Oh man, so I got a Duet 2 Duo.
Nice.
My MacBook Pro, of course. Logic, Ableton, Pro Tools. I got a MPK Mini.
Dope.
And I got an Impulse 49 key, boy.
Okay.
And a keyboard, a microphone.
Okay.
And
What kind of mic?
I don't even know off the top. I think it's like an AKG.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an AKG.
Dope.
You know,
Dope.
just a basic, you know, entry level condenser mic. You know, nothing special.
Okay. That's what's up, man. So I noticed a few DAWs that you named in there. Do you have special uses for each of them, or do you just use whichever one you're feeling at the moment?
I got a special use for each of them.
Okay. Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, no problem. So for Ableton, I'm mainly just using Ableton at this point to do the finishing edits and cuts on whatever I make in Logic.
Dope.
Like I'll use Logic mainly to just create and arrange. And then after everything is in the format that I want, I'll use Ableton to make the chops and cuts and edits that I see fit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Dope, man. Dope. What do you use the Pro Tools for?
Pro Tools is mainly just mixing. And that's if I mean, at this point, honestly, I prefer Logic over Pro Tools as far as mixing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
The only thing that I don't like about Logic is that it doesn't like drums.
You said it doesn't like drums?
Yeah, all your drums is going to peak in Logic.
Okay.
For whatever reason. It's not actually clipping, but it'll read it like it's clipping.
Right.
And you have to actually do a little bit of finagling just to get it to read properly.
Okay.
That's about it.
All right. I mean, I've used Pro Tools for years and years and just made the switch over to Logic. So I'm trying to get adapted to it and trying to adjust, and yeah. So I'll definitely take that into consideration as well. So okay. Well, thank you, man. All right, man. Well, Beat Grinders, you guys heard what's all in Cain's studio. If you guys are interested in any of that, you can go on the website to his show notes, and I'll have a list there, and you can look all that up. So, all right, man. Well, this next portion of the interview, man, I like to call In the Mix. We're gonna speed things up a little bit. It's kind of like rapid fire. So I'm gonna ask you some questions. You spit them back to me kind of quick. But at the same time, we want well thought out, thorough answers. So if you do need to take your time, it's no problem at all.
Cool.
All right, man. Do you prefer making beats with samples or without samples?
Without.
Okay. Oh, actually, I'm gonna ask you, man, because I know that that a lot of your work is without samples, and you've grown up playing instruments. Did you ever make beats with samples?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's just that now, like, if I'm going to use a sample, I just rather interpolate it because then I can put my own spin on it.
Right. That's
You know what I'm saying? So that's mainly what it is. It's like chopping loops is fun, but it's probably faster for me just to recreate it.
Really dope.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's a skill. That I would love to have. That's tight. Okay, man. What's your opinion on selling and leasing beats online?
I don't care if you're selling beats online, is fine. Like, I mean, you gotta move in the direction that technology is moving in, and that's one of the reasons that the music industry is having its issues today, is because it didn't evolve with technology.
Right.
You know, so selling beats online is fine. It's just the leasing beats that I have a problem with. You know, you don't really take ownership of your music, your sound. You're just leasing it because it's not yours.
Right.
It's just like when you buy equipment for yourself. You know, you're taking yourself seriously. You're not really taking yourself seriously if you're leasing beats.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Okay. Well, what about I mean, this is a whole different thing, but what about like I think there's a website called Splice now, and you can lease VSTs. What do you think about that? Like, because I know that you said taking yourself serious by buying equipment, but what do you think about like leasing equipment or leasing VSTs?
The technology part of just everything that has to do with software is changing. Like, it used to be when you bought Microsoft Office, you owned Microsoft Office.
Right.
Now you're just buying a license for it. Once the license runs out, you're screwed. And it's the same thing with like Adobe Creative Cloud. You're not buying the actual product. You don't own it. You just bought a license for it. You're renting it.
Right.
So there's a lot of companies that are trying to push for this rent.
Right. Yep.
Profit. This. You buy the license and then you have to renew it. So this is like those companies trying to test the water to see if they can get away with it with music, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it either. I think I saw Avid is doing that with Pro Tools as well. So,
right, exactly.
So
You know, then what happens is you get a program that you really like and you want to buy it, but what if that company decides that they only want to do a recurring payment? So now you got to pay $69.95 for the rest of your life,
right.
every year, just to have this. You know,
Right.
like
Yep.
doesn't sound like that much money, but
over the long run,
adds up when
Yep.
you have, you know, a full library of VSTs and sounds.
right. Yep. No doubt. No doubt. Okay. Well, thank you for your opinion on that, man. Appreciate it. What's a plugin that you think every producer should have in their arsenal?
Massive or Arturia.
Dope. Okay. Arturia, that's a line of keyboards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there one particular one that you
Has a
think,
lot
or
of,
just the whole bundle?
The old school mood.
Right.
You can get the mini mood and be good.
Okay. Dope. Yeah, to me that has a lot of dope bass sounds on there, and yeah, I love that. Okay. Do you have a book that you think that every producer should read? And it doesn't have to be music related.
See, because I was about to say I'm not the music book reading dude, and I'm not the business book. You know how somebody, you got to read this business book.
Right.
I read science fiction. Like if I'm reading this because I need to escape a reality.
Okay, I hear that.
I just finished reading this this, I guess you could call it a trilogy called Red Rising.
Red Horizon?
So Red Rising.
Oh, Red Rising.
Red Rising.
Okay.
Yes. Think of red people instead of brown people rising up against their oppressors. Yeah. So
okay.
That joint was dope. I really like that book. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Beat Grinders, you guys heard it from Cain, man. Red Rising. So definitely check it out. And you said it's a trilogy?
Yeah. So there's 2 other books that come with that are in the whole sequence of events. Dope.
Okay. That's what's up. All right, man. Well, is there an internet resource that you use that you think that every producer could benefit from? And when I say internet resource, I mean like a website or a mobile app?
I mean, I think the resource that any producer should have should just be any type of website that teaches you chords.
Okay. Dope.
Yeah, you know.
Is there one that's a go-to for you that you know of besides YouTube?
Nah, I'm not bragging. I swear I'm not. It's just that I know most of the chords, or I at least have a really good understanding of chord progressions and the different types of chords. So a lot of the stuff I could just figure out myself.
Dope. Okay. That's great advice for producers to find a website that teaches chords, man. I know every time I pursue that, my music it gets just that much better. You know, I actually bought a book. I actually have it right here. Piano keyboards and chords, man. Just a book just full of nothing but chords, man. And yeah, I feel like my music has just elevated. So that's what's up. Okay, man. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate it, man. All right, man. Well, I want to know. They just tore down all the faces on Mount Rushmore, man, and they gave you a pick and a hammer, and they want you to mold new faces up in there, man. But they have to be producers. I want to know who's all going up on your Mount Rushmore.
Oh man, you going to nail me for naming people that other people probably name?
I won't. This time I won't. This is your Mount Rushmore. Right. It's your 4, and I have no say in it. It's all on you.
All right. So the first person that's going up is Quincy Jones, just because dude is he developed so many artists that like oh man, I can't even begin. Like he developed what's her name, man? What is her name? Leslie Gore.
Okay.
Like nobody really wanted to work with her.
Really?
Not really. If I'm getting the story right, I could be dead wrong, and then Quincy Jones hears this and goes, "That fool don't know what he's talking about." But the way it was told to me was, Quincy was just getting in the game. He was young, and he's like, "Yo, man, I'm good with music." And he's like, "I don't care. You just play your chords and do what we pay you for, and that's it." And he found this chick named Leslie Gore. Nobody wanted to work with her because she couldn't really sing that well. And the first song he made with her was "It's My Party."
Okay. Is that the one that that's not "It's My Party and I Do What I Want To," is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my party and I cry if I want to.
Yeah.
That joint went #1.
Wow.
And then, you'd think that was a fluke, but then he made "You Don't Own Me" with her.
Wow.
And,
wow.
and it was just hit after hit with her.
Right.
And he had consistency to like pick up an artist and make hits with them. You know what I'm saying? Like he is if other people are super producers, he's the super duper uber producer. You know what I'm saying? Like he's Godfather. And then there's DJ Premier and Timbo.
Dope. Can't deny any of those 3, man. That's what's up, man. You got one more.
Ah man, you're right. I'm gonna go with Knife Wonder just because he don't care if everybody makes fun of him because he used FL.
that's what's
he
up,
do what
man.
he want. He do what he want.
Yep, man, and and he also fits that. He also fits the theme, man. I mean, all those guys that you just named are trailblazers. They have their own sound. They started their own movements, and they're legends because of it, man. That's what's up.
Is there?
Well, man, sounds like a great Mount Rushmore, man. All right, man. Well, I want you to stay in this imaginative mode, man. I want you to imagine that you just came out of the perfect studio session. And in that studio session, you have one artist, one producer along with yourself, one engineer, and a random person. Who are those 4 people going to be?
Damn. All right, so the artist is going to be Kaydence.
Okay.
Like
dope.
every session that we've had, and it's been dope. My producer is going to be Sound Junkie.
Okay.
My random person is going to be Fox because you got to have all the rest. So I'm
not
mad
at you on that one.
And my engineer is going to be Matt Weiss.
Dope. Okay. Man, that's an engineer that's been mentioned on here probably more than any other engineer, man. Matt Weiss definitely doing his thing, man. Okay, and then man, let me not forget everybody else, man. Kaydence and also the rest of the Ratchet Gxds, man. I mean, we've heard what you guys can do. We've heard what you guys have done. You guys have created great music, and man, I look forward to hearing more great music, man. That's dope. That is your perfect studio session, and that you've already had that session before, man. That's dope. Okay. I gotta ask, man. I did not read all the all the credits on the album, man. I mean, I know who the producers were, but did Matt Weiss engineer any of that album?
He engineered White Flag.
Okay. Dope. Nice. And that was a single, right? I mean, you guys have a video for that one, right?
Yes.
Dope. Okay. Well, Beat Grinders, go check that out, and you can hear what all these artists have done, and you can also get the visuals as well. So, okay. Well, thank you for that, man. That's dope. It's not often that we get someone that has a perfect studio session that they've already had. So yeah, man, that's dope that we can listen to it, man.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, I want to know, what's your favorite song that you've ever produced?
Man, it's a tie.
Okay.
So the first song is Caught Out of Habit.
Nice.
By Kaydence. And then the second one is White Flag, who I co-produced with Symphony.
Nice. Why those two?
So Caught Out of Habit, because just the whole story of how that happened is just hilarious to me. Like, I was working on, I got home like late from work. Like it was probably like one in the morning.
Okay.
2 in the morning. And I was working on Caught Out of Habit. Like, I had damn near the entire idea done. So the next day I put the finishing touches on it, and I sent it to Kaydence and Junkie, and I said, yeah, this is a hit. And Junkie was like, I'll be the judge of that. And I was like, nah man, just stop fucking around, just open that joint up. This is the BPM, this is the key signature, put some drums on that joint, do what you do.
Right. And
Kaydence put a song on that joint, and we good to go. And they listened to it, and they was like, yeah, this the one.
Nice.
This one, And, something similar happened with White Flag. So Kaydence had an acapella, and she said, you guys want to work on some acapellas? Of course. Of course I would want to work on an acapella. Send it to me. So we're all in her apartment. We're each thinking we're working on different songs. So it was me, Symphony, and DH. And DH was working on one song. I was working on, I forget what it was called when she sent it to us. I think it might have just been White Flag, but I don't know.
Okay.
But I was working on White Flag, and Symphony was working on White Flag. He was working on the verse part. I was working on the chorus part. So, about half hour in, Symphony says, yo, what did y'all all pick? So D8 says which one he picks. I think he picked Night in LA or something like that. I can't remember.
Okay.
But he had a dope like salsa vibe to it. And then I said White Flag. He was like, huh. I did White Flag. I was like, press play. And he pressed play, and it was like the verse part, and I was like, all right, let it go to the hook. And then after he did that, I pressed play, and he was like, send that shit over now. Send it over now. Send it. So basically had that whole song. I mean, we had the main idea done, probably within like a day. Less than a day.
Oh man. That is dope right there, man. Well, man, thank you for sharing those stories, man, because I know personally I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna listen to that album again and keep those stories in mind as I'm listening, man. And yeah, man, that's dope. I don't blame you for those being your favorites, man. 2 dope songs, and I can see why now with the stories behind them, man. So thank you for sharing those, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 singles, right? The first single, Caught Out of Habit, and was the second one White Flag?
Yep.
Dope, man. Dope. Okay. All right, man. Well, I want to know, what's an album besides one that you worked on that you recommend every producer listen to, and why?
Thriller.
What is it?
Thriller.
Oh, Thriller. Dope. Okay. Nice.
One of the greatest albums of all time.
It is.
And I mean, it gives you all the hallmarks of what a top-notch producer is, one, supposed to do, and what he's looking for, and how he builds an artist, So he took all the strengths that Michael had, and then he not only enhanced them, but he also took Mike's weakness and enhanced that as well. He wasn't afraid to get other people in on a project. A lot of producers, no, I can't say that. I won't put that on anybody. I'll say that some people that I've come across, when they're working on a project, they want to hoard all the work to themselves.
Right.
They don't want to delegate.
Right.
They don't want to pass work off to other people because, ego, or, for me, it's being a perfectionist. And, it's one of them things like, if I do it myself, I know it'll get done.
Right.
But you gotta be able to, network with and work with people that are just as serious as you.
Right.
So he delegated work to other songwriters, other musicians, other producers. They had roundtable discussions on which songs they were going to pick and what order they were going to put them in. All of that stuff. It's the culmination of actually being a producer.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Damn, Thriller. That's one of my favorites, and I'm actually surprised that it hasn't been mentioned on here before, man.
I'm actually surprised too.
Yeah, man. that's what's up, man. Okay, I gotta ask you though, man. I mean, how can I phrase this? Would you consider yourself more of an R&B producer or a hip hop producer, or does it even matter?
I don't think it matters.
Okay, I just wanted to know because I know you've worked with a lot of hip hop artists. But I mean, I've heard you do the Kaydence album and do it very well, and you're influenced by a lot of R&B as well. So
yeah. I mean, you gotta think of it like this. When you're dealing with music, a lot of the best songs blurred genres.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of hip hop songs that have music that has like gospel elements in it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of hip hop songs that have rock elements in it, rock songs that have hip hop. Like, all of them just mashed together, and it doesn't matter. When it's good, it doesn't matter what genre it is.
Right.
So,
right.
That's what I strive to do. Like, it doesn't matter what genre it's in. It's good. It's dope. It's solid. It's timeless.
That's awesome, man. One album I thought of when you said that was Kendrick's album. To Pimp a Butterfly. It's so hard to just put that in one genre.
Right. Yep.
Man. Okay. All right. Well, man. Well, thank you for that, and thank you for those words that you just gave off, man. That it doesn't matter. Good music is good music. And you can't just put it in one box. It's just good music. So.
Yep.
Thank you for that, man. Okay. And if you guys haven't heard Thriller and you want to, I'll definitely have a link up for that on the website, so you can check that out as well. So, all right, man. Well, we're staying in this imaginative mode, man, and I want to know, man. You already experienced this pretty much when you lost your music 3 times, but I want to know if you woke up tomorrow and you lost everything that you had except for your knowledge and $1,000. So that's including the Ratchet Gxds, all the rest of your contacts, all your music, everything else except for your knowledge and $1,000. What would you do in the next week to restart your career?
Damn, I lost that. That's hard, man. You shot me right in my foot and then my heart.
I know, it is hard, man.
Well, the first thing I would do is I'll buy a laptop.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be, high grade. It doesn't have to be a Mac. In fact, I could probably buy all the parts myself and make it.
Dope. Nice.
Even if it's a desktop, I could probably make a really good desktop with like $400.
Wow. Okay.
Then I would buy like a $70 MIDI controller. I would probably buy a good set of headphones.
Okay. And
this is the important thing. When you own your sounds, you can re-download them. Nice.
So no bootlegging, no.
Right, I just re-download them.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? That actually happened. I lost the CDs, but I was like, yo, I own it. Here's my proof of purchase. Can you send me the CDs? And they sent it to me.
Dope.
So, yeah, and I just, saved the rest of the money and, until whenever, whatever else I need it for.
Okay, that's a good answer right there, and I'm glad that you mentioned that about the VSTs and the software, man. I struggle with that as well. I see some software and I want it, and sometimes I'm not patient enough to save up the money for it, or throw down the money, but it's definitely well worth it in the long run. So.
Absolutely. Well, there's actually a website that usually has discounts.
Okay.
So, what's the name of it? I might have it, and I can just give it out. I don't care. I'm not that kind of dude. Like, It's mine.
Hoard it for yourself.
Yeah. I know one of them is ADSR.
Okay.
But they deal mainly with like that's why I said like Massive or Arturia, because they have a lot of like sound libraries, like actual like sounds, like not samples but sounds.
Dope.
That you can load up into Massive.
Okay.
You
That's
got
tight.
that, and then you got VST Buzz, and they all have like 70% off of different VSTs. So a VST that like costs like $149 in euros, like 109 euros will cost like 44 euros. So,
wow.
That's like, I don't know now because, the euro kind of got shot down by stupid people in Brexit. So I don't know, it's like $40 or $50. It's somewhere along those lines.
Yeah, somewhere in there. But that's dope, man. Well, thank you for sharing, man. I'm definitely gonna look those two sites up. The ADSR, I didn't even know that they sold sounds. I just always look on their. I see their channel on YouTube, and I think they have like tutorials and stuff on there. So,
yes, sir.
But yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, and hopefully the beat grinders that weren't up on game, man. Hopefully you guys will check that out as well. So. All right, man. Well, I want to know, man, what do you think legacy is, and when it's all said and done, man, what do you want your legacy to be?
Man, legacy. That's a deep question, bro. When you do anything, right? The goal is to change it forever. In a way that's positive.
Nice.
Bill Russell, basketball. Wilt Chamberlain, basketball. Michael Jordan, basketball. They all changed basketball.
Right.
For the better. Like they set the bar for what great sportsmanship in basketball, and what an amazing player is supposed to be. Like people now are still trying to reach that pinnacle.
Right. Yeah.
And it is lasting. Like we'll be 10 15 years older, and that will still be a height which people are trying to attain. Quincy Jones, Prince, Whitney Houston, they all changed music for the better, their own way. That's a legacy. And it doesn't matter what slander somebody tries to put on them. Their works, their accomplishments speak for themselves. Like it's at that point it's its own entity. It doesn't matter what they do afterwards. I used to call it, that person deserves a pass. Like Eddie Murphy did, Coming to America, Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop, Golden Child. He can do Pluto Nash.
Right. Right.
He can do North. He gets a pass.
Right.
He already changed the face of comedy. He built a legacy. Like people are still trying to do Delirious and Raw numbers.
Yep, that's true.
Not even just with the money, but how funny it is. Like I still don't think anything is as funny as all Delirious is today.
Right.
That's legacy. What was the other part of your question?
What do you want your legacy to be?
So that's a two-part answer. Like the first part is technology-wise. Like I know that I kind of hinted at it, but I work in technology now.
Okay.
I think that music really needs an upgrade as far as technology. I have an idea, and I'm not going to say it because then I don't want anybody stealing the idea, because that happens in music, unfortunately.
Yep.
But it needs an upgrade as far as content. Not like people's content is bad, but I mean as far as protecting people.
Okay.
Napster kicked the music industry's ass. Like it doesn't matter what the court order was. Like the damage was already done.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect, and then the other aspect, which is the creativity side, where I just want to create a new sound and take people in new directions that they didn't think of, or maybe they thought of it but they were too afraid to do it because they didn't want to be labeled as different. Like there's a sameness, you know, like a hit record will come out and then 5 other records just like it'll come out and they're not nearly as good because they think that the reason why that hit record was a hit is because of the way it sounds, and they're right. It was a hit record because it was different.
Right. Yep.
When Temple came out, he had hit records because he was different.
Right.
Blaze had hit records because it was different. Primo, same thing. Like all these producers that we all idolize and look up to, they're different. They're not afraid of owning their sound, you know, or reinventing themselves.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Yeah, though, I mean, the only way to recreate what's different is to be different yourself and not, you know, and not bite anybody. So that's what's up, man. Well, when you create, are you creating something to be different, or are you just natural, or are you just naturally creating something different? I don't know if I'm even wording this right.
I what you're saying, like when I approach making something, am I trying to be like, am I thinking of how I can be different?
Right.
No, I mean, honestly, dude, like I don't, like I'm a recluse, like musically, like I try to shelter myself from what other people are doing.
Nice.
There's songs that I love, and I'll listen. I'll run them things into the ground. Like Bruno Mars right now is winning to me.
Right.
Everything that every R&B, you know, artist is afraid to do, he's doing right now. His whole damn album is just nothing but ballads.
Right.
All of them are ballads. Like, when's the last time we had a R&B artist that did ballads? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, talking to girls on the street, following them and not being creepy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, like not being a creep.
Right.
You feel me? Like, you know, but I'm just using my like I use like my childhood thing, like elements from my childhood, memories from my childhood. You know, like a lot of times we'll come up with stuff by just talking. Like we came up with the idea for Godzilla. That's a record on the Kaydence album. Because I was doing a lot of R&B records, and I was sending them to Junkie and Fox, like, yeah, guys, what you think of this? Like, let's work on this. And there's times when we're off sync. Like, they'll send something, and then the other two just won't get on it because they're, like, busy. Right. Like, not busy like other things. Like, we're working on something else, so we don't even check our email.
Right.
So that happened, and I was getting heated. And we were in the studio, and they're like, yo, a lot of those ideas you sent were dope. Let's work on those R&B ideas. And I snapped, and I was like, no, we're not doing no R&B. I'm throwing buildings. I'm knocking everything down. Y'all lucky y'all not a building, because I knocked y'all down too. We doing some Godzilla type shit. And they're like, what? And I had an idea in my head, and I had this synth that I made, and I did it. Like, and when you listen to the song, it's that synth that you hear after the piano intro. Like that real hard, like grimy, just nasty, ugly sound.
Right.
You know, they had like this scrunchy face, and Sound Junkie was like, I got this. You know, he put the drums, and then Fox put the piano, and I put Melly on top of all his stuff.
That's dope.
You know,
that's dope. So it all started with the synth.
Yep.
That's dope right there. That's dope, man. Man, okay, all right, man. Well, man, sounds like you already got your legacy, what you want your lasting, or the memory of you to be already mapped out for the most part. I mean, you know, being different, you know, and
saving the music industry from itself as far as technology. Right now, the music industry is like that grandparent that didn't want to use AOL when it first came out.
Right.
Dial-up? What's that?
Right.
This confangled computer, what's a password? You know.
Right.
Right now, like that. So I kind of want to save it from itself.
Okay. That's dope, man. That's dope. What about, I'm just going to throw this in here because we're about ready to wrap up the interview, but I never asked you this before, man. About your sound design. how would somebody? Because I mean, seems like everybody now wants to design their own sounds, and I mean, for the most part, producers have always designed their own sounds, but it seems like everyone's trying to take it a step further now. Do you have any advice for anyone trying to become a sound designer?
I mean, first and foremost, like don't take drums from another sound kit, rename them, and then call it a sound kit.
Right. Nice.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, the one thing that all producers and beat makers are audiophiles. If nobody does, that means we love sound.
Right.
So we're going to pick up immediately if a drum sound is from another kit, like instantaneous.
Right.
Don't bite off of other people. Don't do that. Like, the whole idea of designing sounds is designing a sound that nobody else has, so they can sample it.
Right.
That's why, you know, I mean, aside from technology and synthesizers, that's why, you know, sampling even like, it's taking a sound that they didn't have at the time because they didn't have the technology to make their own sounds, you know, to make that kind of lush sound, and making, you know, putting drums over it, like, you know, sampling. Like, you gotta recreate that want. Like, somebody has to want that sound. So find out what that sound is that you can provide, and then go for it.
Dope.
You know, go hard by it, you know.
Okay, that's great advice, and you definitely weren't lying on that. I've heard many a times where Illmind will listen to other people's beats, and he can tell where they got their drums from, what kit they got them from. I think I heard him listening to someone. He was like, "Oh, that's from Jake One's drum kit."
Yeah, so, man. Illmind is audio Jesus, man. Like, shout out to Illmind.
Yeah, definitely, man. Shout out to Illmind. Okay. All right, man. Well, I want to know, man, like I said, we're wrapping it up, man. What's the greatest piece of advice that you've received, and what advice would you have for all the producers listening today?
Man, the greatest advice I ever received was from my grandpa, man. He said a fish wouldn't get caught if he kept his mouth shut.
Dope. I haven't heard that one, but man, that's great advice. Oh, man.
Yeah, man. You know, just listen to understand instead of responding. You know, that's important, especially with music, because the music industry is more relationship heavy than it is, you know, talent,
right?
Technical wise, you know. So in order to even empathize or, you know, be on the same wavelength as other people, you gotta listen. That means not opening your mouth. You know, and saying the wrong thing and offending somebody and ended up, you know, low key blackballed.
Right.
So,
Right. Dope. That's great advice right there, man. And, you know, that's something that we hear all the time, you know, but at the same time, I mean, for me, I hear it all the time, but, you know, I don't really hear it and deliver it that way, you know, as in terms of music.
Yeah, my grandpa was a colorful dude, yo.
That's dope, man. I mean, hey, I have a baby myself, man, and that's one that I might have to use. So, you know, as she's coming up.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up, man. Well, thank you for that, man. Thank you for that advice, man. I'm sure we'll all learn from that. Hopefully.
You know, some people, you know, hard head, soft behind.
Right. That's what's up, man. Well, I think that was a good way to end it off, man, with that great piece of advice that you just gave, man. If you have any more words I'm sorry, man. Let me thank you first off for doing this interview, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Of course, man. Of course.
If you have any more words for the listeners, if there's anything that you want to let them know, like a project that they should be looking out for, or sound kits that they should be looking out for, or how to contact you if you want to be contacted, man, here's your chance to let them know.
Oh, absolutely. So we have a sound kit that's out now with sound library. We're getting away from the kit thing. We're starting
Nice.
developing in the libraries, but it's called 8-Bit Heroes.
Nice.
So it's like all your favorite 8-bit sounds from when you were growing up, playing Nintendo and everything like that. But we used it in a way that's very creative. A lot of R&B flavors, a lot of epic theater type vibe going on. We have another sound library we're working on now called Neon VCR. So it's going to be 80s inspired.
Nice. Okay.
So all the 80s, movie theaters stuff, all the 80s R&B, all that kind of material.
Man, y'all killing it with the retro.
Yeah, man. Listen, I told you, my childhood, bro. Like the 80s were the best, man.
Yeah,
80s
they were.
all day, bro.
Right.
As far as reaching me, I mean, you can contact me on Twitter at just Cain The Producer. CAIN. A lot of people spell it CKANE. It's not that. It's CAIN, The Producer. You can reach me on Instagram at Cain The Producer. There's just an underscore between each word. And the only other thing I can tell you guys is just to be great and win. Like you're always going to face, obstacles and hardship, but it's about being able to get back up and work hard towards overcoming it and coming out on the other side of that obstacle, whatever it was that you're dealing with, better.
Dope, man. Dope. This is a guy that's living it, man. He's not just saying he's living it. I mean, hey, what can I say? The guy worked 2 jobs and made beats. So, man, definitely living it. So, thank you, Cain, for this. Really appreciate it, man. You definitely dropped some words of wisdom, some words that we can live by for this week to get us through the next episode. And not only this week, man, but throughout life, man. So thank you for that, man, and really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And Beat Grinders, thank you for tuning in. And like I say all the time, man, mentorship is important. And this week, you are very lucky, so am I, to be mentored by Cain. So, and once again, thank you for listening, and keep tuning in. Really appreciate y'all. Keep grinding. Peace.
Peace.
Here at Beats Grinding Life, we want to thank you for listening to another episode. We want to know, what were your biggest takeaways from this interview? Just go to beatsgrindandlife.com and leave a comment on this episode's show notes page. Also, while you are there, go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Just click the little button that says subscribe. If you could, please leave a rating and review. Rating and reviews are the best way to show your appreciation because it helps more people find out about the podcast. So until next week's episode, keep grinding.